Us. Before we start with our lesson for Bassai Dai, I want to give a little background and history about the kata. Bassai, written with a B, is the Japanese kata name, and that is the name that we use in Shotokan. In Okinawa and in other styles, the kata is called Bassai with a P. In the karate history of Okinawa, or if you want to call it that way in the karate history books, Bassai has, according to some researchers, two appearances. These researchers believe that Bassai was brought to Okinawa as early as the 13th century through Chinese martial artists. And then there's a second appearance of the Kata Bassai in the 19th century. The different Okinawan karate schools developed the kata in different ways. Most likely the origin was the same, but the interpretation from school to school was differently, and that's the reason why we see the kata nowadays executed in many different ways. In the different styles, the kata is very similar, but yet different. Interesting is that the kata is also known in Chinese martial arts and Korean martial arts, such as Taekwondo and Tansudo. There's a lot of speculation about the name, history, and the kanjis of the kata, and I don't want to get into all that. I think we're okay if we just go with the translation and the kanjis that Sensei Funakoshi has used in his book Karate Do Kyohan, which is probably the most important one and really only relevant source for our needs. The name Bassai can be translated as breaking into a fortress, or making a run on an enemy stronghold, or even breaking down the walls of a fortress. So the kata is called that way because it assumes for you to have a spirit and strength that is necessary to break into an enemy stronghold. The kata should be demonstrated with vitality and energy, but if it does not have a certain imposing dignity, some sort of worthiness of honor and respect, then the special characteristics of that kata will not come out. The embosen is T-shaped, and Sensei Nakayama suggests in his book series that the length of the kata should be around 60 seconds. The kata emphasizes strong hip rotation, and if you look at those hip rotations, then you could indeed imagine hammering against a wall that you want to break down or break through. So you can see how someone comes up with the name breaking into a fortress. Only Shotokan has a Dai and Sho version, which probably leads back to the influence of Sensei Anko Itosu, who supposedly developed the Sho version. Sensei Itosu was one of Sensei Gishin Funakoshi's teachers, if you don't know that. So, Dai means large and Sho means small, but in our case, and for the purpose of karate, it should be probably translated as long and short. So you could say that Sho katas are shorter than their Dai counterparts. Although I'm not sure if this would really apply to Goshio Dai and Goshio Sho. Good, but there is another way of looking at Bassai Dai and Bassai Sho. Let's go back to the translation. Breaking into a fortress. Well, there are always two sides of the story. Maybe I'm the one who's breaking in, but it also could be that I'm the one who's defending that fortress. So if you look at it that way, then maybe, just maybe, Bassai Dai is the breaking in because it seems to be a little bit more offensive, and Bassai Sho is defending, since that kata seems a little bit more defensive in nature. And then there is something that nobody talks about, and that is that some of our advanced katas have deeper meanings, character building lessons, or even spiritual goals, if you want to call it that way, that you can draw or learn with or from those kata. In the Kata Bassai Dai, you are supposed to demonstrate calmness on one side and commitment in your action on the other side. You want to practice the kata with the imagination of overcoming a great obstacle. The spiritual lesson is to learn to overcome your obstacles in life through great physical effort and mental strength. Just think of that fortress, that big obstacle in your way that you need to conquer, are just shooting down on you, and the thick walls and the gates that you need to break through, tear down, and all that. You slam against it, and you got to pick yourself up again and again and again. And it is interesting that this kata is the most common kata that is required for your black belt test, for your Shodan black belt test. Because if you look at it, if you look at your black belt test, let's be honest, we all look at it as a huge obstacle in our way, and we all struggle to tear down this obstacle and to break through. So the Kata Bassai must teach you as a practitioner and awaken within you your inner strength and your fighting spirit. Our katas have much deeper meanings and goals than just physical exercise or even self-defense purposes. Katas should be practiced with the intention to train our body and our mind to become one. So we can manifest physically and mentally whatever we want and need to accomplish. Those are actually spiritual goals. So our kata practice always has to have a direct connection to our emotional state of mind and eventually an effect on our soul. Every kata teaches you to control, engage or disengage some emotion or emotions. And that's really what the Shotokan logo, the tiger in the circle, stands for: the internal and external balance of things. And this is the true reason why the kata is called the source of traditional martial arts. It's not the handing down of techniques, secret techniques, hidden techniques, and so many karatekatas want to believe that. The truth is that the katas have deeper meaning and deeper goals that the practitioner is supposed to learn and to reach for. So practice your Bassai Dai with this kind of intention until you have developed those qualities within yourself. Remember that our physical training should lead us to a mindset that can manifest certain character traits within you. And that is Bassai Dai for you. If you want to learn more about the other Sensei katas, or if you are preparing for your next Kyu or Dan test, then I recommend to you our belt preparation course series. For more information, you can contact us at karatecoaching.com. Let's keep practicing.